Okay, now that we have a fresh micro suede applicator on the block, the first place I like to go working on the external panels of the car are these soft pillars. With the new micro suede applicator on there and not having gone over any of the panels that already have dust settling on them from the air, we can protect these with very low risk of remarring them. Again, they are very soft, very little protection on top of them, so I'm going to start right here. Very light pressure, just in case there's some dust or dirt that landed on the pillars themselves while I wasn't looking. Don't want to push that into the surface and mar at all. And we go around and take care of these first. Some other quick tips to help reduce the risk of putting light scratches or marring in a freshly corrected vehicle, any panel, is to have a bunch of these laying around. Replace them often, maybe every 2 panels or so, put a new one on. And you can also wipe the threads every time you open the bottle. You can blow the threads out with forced air. What I like to do every time I put some product on the pad itself is to come over and very lightly use forced air to blow over the top of this pad before I touch the car. Not enough to blow any of the product off the pad, but enough to just flick off any of the little pieces of glass or silica that might have hardened around the threads, got in the bottle or the eyedropper, and it'll blow that off of there, keep the product on. Then we can get over there and start coating the car from the top to the bottom, starting with the roof. Start in the middle, work your way towards you. You don't rush yourself, nice and slow. Don't lift the block off of the paint. Slide it over, come towards you, slide it over, push forward, slide it over. That way, if you pick up, it's going to leave marks. Setting it back down is going to leave marks in high spots. So just keep it down and slide. Continue that. Cover the roof. By the time I go to the other side, cover the roof, it's time to come back over here and start wiping off the transfer solution. What do I mean by transfer solution? Well, there needs to be a carrier to get the coating itself from the bottle to the car. And when you get it applied to the panel, as you're working and the product sits there for a few minutes, the coating starts to bond with the surface. You can come back, wipe off the transfer solution, and the coating will be left behind. Okay, there we have the rainbow effect. It's been on there for a few minutes, and now we can wipe it off. I have 2 of these normally. I'll have one marked with a magic marker somewhere in the corner. I'll use that one for the first initial wipe, and that I just very lightly drag the towel, and I'm kind of using that to just massage the product into the surface. And then I'll come in with the second towel, and that'll be the one that I mop to perfection or buff to perfection. Massage it in. Second one comes in, buff it off. That simple. Continue the process down to the trunk, to the hood, to the sides, to the front, to the back. Okay, the first coat has been applied, and before we sit here and let it cure, we're going to pull it out and we're going to get the stuff off of the rotors and check for high spots and kill 2 birds with 1 stone. You don't want any high spots to dry on there and then get locked under a second coat, so that's what we're going to do now. Alright, this here would be what we're looking for. This is what a high spot looks like. It's just a darker smudge on the paint. Just wipe it off. When it comes to the rotors, just pulling it out of the garage alone and hitting the brakes, cleaned them off. The wheel's coated. We don't have to do anything but blow it off when we back into the shop, into the bay. No big deal. Okay, back inside, we wiped off any high spots. We got that crap off the rotors, and they are coated. No need to even make it wet. There's hardly anything in there. Most of it blew away out in the wind. Anything left? A little bit of compressed air, and we are good to go. Okay, while we're waiting for the first coat to dry, in about 2 hours in between coats, we can come back to our test area. We can do our measurements first. Thickness, we had an average of 3.5 mils. So we could bump that up to 3.6, 3.65 mils. So we had a slight increase of thickness. Okay, now let's go to the gloss meter. There were 83 gloss units to start. And I mean, it's just obvious visually that there's going to be a huge bump up in gloss. The coating, again, fills in areas. It fills in pores on the clear coat, some micro marring. Let's take a reading. Okay, so we had a jump from 83 to 85.5 GU. And as we remove the tape, you can see the obvious difference with really no preparation besides a panel prep, no correction. That's what the coatings can do all on their own. So if we get a close-up of the area right next to the test area that's not protected, you can see the micro marring up close. And as we slide on over to the protected area and we focus in, we can see, let me get it a little bit better here, right there. You can see for the most part the micro marring filled in, leveled everything up, filled in the pores, filled in the scratches, and that's what gives you the improvement, the overall improvement, the gloss, the depth, and the clarity. All right, let's get the second coat going here. We have the roof done. I'm down to the hood exactly the same way as we laid the first coat down in the last video. Okay, now just like in the previous video, 2 towels, they're not the same, so I don't have to mark them. This one here will be the first one to sort of spread out the coating, massage it in a little bit more. The second one comes in and mops it up or buffs it clean. coat number 2 has been applied, but before we sit back and relax a little bit, we want to pull it outside and make sure there are no high spots like we did before. The final wipe down is important. We do not want this to cure with any high spots. They show up as the dark spots that I showed you when I pulled it out the first time that were on the hood here. So we're going to pull it out and double check it. Okay, we have it pulled back in. We're going to let it cure. It has to cure now a full 24 hours. I do have the windows a bit messed up on the outside. We're going to take care of that. And this stuff is absolutely fantastic. We're going to take care of the windows next, put some tire shine, replace his license plate, and we are out for the weekend. Okay, for the cherry on top, we're going to use Geon tire. Okay, that's going to do it. Looks pretty good. It's a gorgeous car. Customer should be happy. He's entered into the maintenance program, so we will be friends for years to come. Alright guys, that's going to do it for this series. I enjoyed doing it. I hope you enjoyed it. I tried to pack as much information as I could to share with you. I can't do this all the time. It does slow me down a little bit. It gets me off schedule. But when something interesting comes in, maybe something exotic, or I do a lot of classic antique cars, or maybe a supercar, this is a mid-tier package. If one of the higher tier packages comes in, I will be sure to get some footage. If you have any questions, don't hesitate. Brian from Apex Detail. Catch you in the next video.